Check.
And then just break out in the song.
See,
I think
this is the only thing that I don't like about this movie because I don't do musicals very well.
I agree with you.
And it's got a lot of singing. Granted, this movie is probably the only one that the one that I tolerate the most. But it's got a lot of singing.
Homeboy's just giving away profit right now. What are you doing?
Because they're probably laced with something. That freaking creep.
You know,
don't touch her.
Now we're touching the
Don't
kids.
touch. Why do you? Where are your parents?
It's getting a little graspy.
I don't like. Yeah, like why? And also, like your main hangout is children. I don't just. What are those? What are those dot things? They sold them when we were kids too.
I never understood.
They're.
Are they gum?
No, they're like hard candies that are just stuck to that.
That's
stuck to that
dumb.
wax paper.
It's supposed to be the same as like when you have like a bottle cap or like a fucking sweet tart or something. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
sweet tarts are good.
I always wanted one of those gigantic lollipops. Never got one.
I got one time when we were in Disney.
Disney, yeah.
And it wasn't like it was way overrated.
And it's so much work. It's so much work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are you drugging the
Yeah,
kids?
now you're giving them like a cocktail.
Well, I mean, Gab, it's
Yo, this guy just
works.
giving the kids free
Ew, I know. Really, he's gonna go home to his wife, and his wife's gonna be like, "So how much did you make today, honey?" And he's just gonna be like, man, darling, I got into song, and I got a little carried away.
You gave
and
the kids candy again, didn't you?
God damn it, Carl! I swear to fuck.
I told you it was the last time. Get out.
Formula's not gonna grow on trees, Carl.
I got a baby out here who's just shit through all his diapers. Who's gonna give him candy, Carl?
Look, oh God, Charlie, fucking bucket. Also, great, discreet last name to insinuate that this man is poor.
Bucket.
Bucket.
He doesn't have a
This
bucket
is
to piss on.
Charlie Bucket.
Yeah, bucket could mean buckets of cash.
No, bucket of feet. Like he is poor as dirt. Also, I can't remember the tweet. Also, that's not a job. You gave him 6 newspapers.
And he got paid a quarter.
So got paid a quarter, but
back then,
that quarter probably gets you like a fuck ton of candy.
A quarter is probably like $20.
But he can't buy the candy. He's got to support his
deadbeat.
And look, and he just chucks it. You have literally 6 papers. Knock on the door, be like, "Here's your paper" or something.
Right.
Also, the greatest comparison I ever heard was when the grandpa, they're like, "So let me get this straight. This guy doesn't get out of fucking bed for 20 years to get a job, but when he gets a free trip to a chocolate factory, all of a sudden he's just fucking sprinting to the door."
It does look pretty dope. It looks like kind of Disney-esque.
I thought it looked like Auschwitz.
Come on,
I was going with more of that.
I didn't want to say there was something really.
Man.
Yes, there's something very the entrance of Auschwitz to that. And I'm sorry, as someone who's been there, I'm trying to. The hell
it's very
are you?
Dark. Yeah, it's very dark.
There's something really concentration camp.
Yeah.
Creepy guy.
Disney. And welcome to the show.
No, not on that note.
This guy just selling hatchets and knives.
To the show. It's Ram, Gab, and Angelo. We are here. It is episode 53.
See, look at them lazy
one
fucks.
And all. We are here. We are watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
We're enthralled in this movie.
The OG version, not the newer Johnny Depp version. Which apparently these guys aren't fans of.
With the 4 grown-ass adults.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the new one.
I think
wasn't great.
No, but I'm thinking about it. Look at her. Like, she could have had a life. She could have, done something. She could have, lived her dreams, but she's taking care of these 4 old people that won't get out of bed.
Do you think at this point she's just hoping that they die so that she could potentially leave?
Yeah. At this point, she's probably feeding them poison. To
Listen,
keep them in
you
the
said
bed
it.
so that they die.
Like
you
the
said it.
Sixth
I probably
Sense,
would have
like
been.
the Sixth
Yeah,
Sense.
they would have been getting. They would have been getting pine sol soups all day.
Pine sol soup. Is that what she put in it?
It looked like pine sol.
I thought it was.
Jesus
I thought it was some
Christ.
kind of I thought it was kind of like surface cleaner. Yeah. Also, but the soup didn't look good to begin with.
Well, I mean,
It was
remember,
like-
Gab, they're poor. So
No,
they're
not
in the Sixth
not
Sense.
them. I mean,
Oh,
the
in the
Sixth
Sixth Sense.
Sense. That soup that she tries to give.
That's a hell of a loaf of bread, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's a loaf. That's a loaf, baby.
How can you be poor with bread like that? You know.
Oh,
This poor kid.
What a good kid.
Oh.
Giving his mom his only fucking
and he
coin.
so humbly gives his salary.
The hell does this old man need that money for? Come on, man.
But that's what I'm saying. That kid's busting
Why
his
is that
balls
old man
to
still
make
in bed and then...
Get your ass out of bed, Gene, and get a
Yeah.
job.
for fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake, dude.
Anyway,
This poor kid. Anyway, episode 53. We are here. We are live.
it's going to be a lot of interjection, I think, in this episode, watching this movie.
Yeah. I like this movie a lot. This is one of my favorite movies.
It's fine.
This is one of the first times that I think I read the book before seeing the movie.
Really?
Yeah, which is usually
I
never
did not
like
read
that.
the book for this.
So seeing it played out in real life, I think
I think
maybe appreciate it a little bit.
all the kid actors did a really good job in this.
Yeah, except for Augustus Gloop.
Augustus was
I punched that
trash,
kid right in the
but
face.
Charlie's does a really good job of being this like ugly poor kid that like
Ramel.
He's a child.
He's a
you know?
child.
okay.
You just got to call the kid ugly.
This
Look
ugly
at that,
poor
look at that
bucket.
kid. Look at how they did this kid's hair, dude. It's trash.
They didn't have
Everyone's hair is fine. It's like the
They didn't have
7th.
moose
When did this
back
movie
then.
come out? The 60s?
Veruca, whatever her name is.
Veruca Salt.
Veruca
She
Salt.
did a great job being this like spoiled little
She
brat.
was-
She was an
great.
icon. If
she's
you
the
don't
one
get
that-
what you want, trash everything.
Is she the one that
Yeah.
turned into a blueberry?
No,
that was
Violet.
Violet
Oh,
Beaudry.
Violet,
yes.
you turned Violet.
Turn Violet. And no, who was that little prick?
Oh, the gunslinging kid.
Gunslinging kid.
I like
yeah.
that kid.
Yeah.
Mike? Was it Mike?
Right out of Texas.
Randy.
With a lisp or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, look, watch, Mom, I'm going to be on TV.
This fucking guy, the teacher, who just doesn't give a shit.
The teacher's always a prick in
prick.
the movies. Although, one I'm thinking about, just like to
Also,
get...
Charlie, why is he wearing the same?
Because he's poor. He only has one outfit.
He's got one outfit. He's got some whack ass freaking brown corduroys.
Remember,
Like,
it's
mom,
not too
written
far from
turtleneck.
home. When we
Couldn't
were
the
like
mom-
7, we had like 3 shirts.
Yeah, but still, couldn't the mom go in like garbage pick for some clothes? at
Shit,
least?
Christ. This is before Goodwill.
Yeah.
But what's it called? I don't know why. I'm just thinking back to the analogy of like that guy just giving away free candy. Like he's like, well, Charlie, you get the entire factory, and then fast forward 20 years, and like Oompa Loompas like, yeah, Charlie, sales are down. We don't. We're really not breaking in the profits that we need to. We have to consider selling. And like he just has like a cigarette and like a half like a scotch glass, and just rubbing his temples.
I feel like if anybody did this, if like a company, I don't think there's a company now that could do this to garner enough attention. Like if Apple was like, we're selling, an iPhone, like 7 iPhones with,
A golden apple.
like fucking headphone set inside the box.
Right.
You get to come and visit Apple. That's not appealing enough.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
they're two
You know what I
different.
mean? Like-
Those are 2 different things, though.
Yeah, but like even candy. If you really think about it candy-wise, who the fuck wants to go to a candy factory?
Well, I mean, if you're a little kid and candy's like the thing that you're going
think
to stop
Disney would be
traffic
the best.
for.
You know who kind of hit this? Well, Disney is a good one. Who kind of hit this is when Family Guy made fun of this episode. Family Guy had an episode where they put like a bunch of golden tickets in bottles of beer, and you get to go to the brewery. And the
yes.
brewery's like this fucking fantastic.
See, now, wait, hold on. That's different.
Now, that's what I'm
for
saying.
For adults, that's actually kind of sick.
You
Have you ever did
breweries
that?
are boring as
You
fuck.
open up.
Yeah, but if you have a brewery, then you have a cool kind of brewery with like fucking all kinds of cool shit in
beer
it.
fountains and
Beer
shit.
fountains, you can go in there, and there's like, there's I don't fucking know, games and all kinds of crazy
There's a
shit.
beer coaster or something like.
Yeah.
it could be.
It'd be
fun.
sick. It'd be pretty sick if you really,
Or
make the inside of the factory cool, of the brewery cool, then people are gonna want to go there.
Or basically it's like if you come to the brewery, we're gonna make sure you get fucking hammered with your friends.
Correct.
It's gonna be a good time. Well, shit.
We'll fly you out.
Yeah.
Because if let's like the breweries in like Seattle, we'll fly you out, spend the weekend here at the brewery.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
and,
honestly,
like-
you think about it, if Bud Light were to do this, you're gonna probably get like a Post Malone concert.
Oh, 100%.
out of the deal. You're gonna probably get some cool shit out of the deal.
I
That'd
actually
be cool.
really don't understand why these companies don't do that. Why they haven't done that.
There's definitely some type of liability clause in there. Somewhere.
Yes.
The only thing is, like, I can't. To the level at which people are trying to get these fucking Wonka things, I'm like, get some hobbies.
Imagine a Bud Light 30 pack.
Just one
And
gold.
inside the 30-pack, there's one gold can.
I'm pretty sure they did this for like the Super Bowl. Or
Yeah,
something
didn't
in
they
one
do
year.
something like that? I feel like there
But
was
anyway,
something about a can.
But there's honestly really probably only 10 gold cans in
in
the
the world.
entire world. And they sell these things. And then you get to go to like I don't fucking know.
You get to
somewhere.
They would have something for
Yeah, they would have something cool. Like you go to the brewery, you go to the Anheuser-Busch fucking brewery.
You go to St. Louis.
in wherever. You get to meet and greet with like some artist that's like sponsored that they sponsor or sponsored by them. You get to go to a sporting event for free with like it's an entire weekend package of like things that Bud Light sponsors.
They're dumb if they don't do it. And we're calling you out.
We're giving you
We're calling you
an
out. I will be
incredibly
buying
awesome marketing idea right now.
I'll be buying
Bud
30
Bud
packs
Light.
up the ass to get that type of thing.
Oh yeah.
This is so.
Okay. So the
I'm
Oscars
sorry.
were this weekend.
All right,
we're actually
that's-
got that.
all right,
Okay,
we
we're
have-
actually talking about
we
it.
have
have
an
things to talk
agenda.
about. The Oscars
Shit.
are this weekend. Now that we're 10 minutes. And, by the way, this guy is creepy as fuck. The guy
Again,
who,
parents not doing anything that's
guy
related to
who
their
just
job.
creepily with a huge scar talking to these kids like in
Like
their
poking
ear.
sausages
Yeah.
in front of their son.
So the Oscars were this weekend. A lot of winners. One big winner.
Yeah. Let's
Let's dive into this.
So we're gonna dive into the wins.
Let's
for
dive
some-
into the winners. Actually, no. Do you want to talk about the losers instead?
I don't. To be honest,
there
I didn't
isn't really a
think
big-
there was anything that was undeserving or got snubbed.
Correct.
Personally, I think there was also like no. By the time you get to Oscars and award season, the individual actors that win their awards are kind of like
a shoe-in.
they're shoe-ins by that point because
Correct.
they basically swept every other
Yes.
award ceremony
Right.
up to that point. The only one that I feel is kind of like a coin toss is the Golden Globes because they have more diverse categories.
Right.
But he's an asshole. Sorry. So we all knew that Laura Dern was going to win for supporting actress.
Right.
Renee Zellweger was going to win for lead. Joaquin was going to win for lead, and Brad Pitt was going to win for supporting.
Right.
For those major awards, we kind of all knew
that's
what
gonna
was
fall
going to
into
happen.
place.
There wasn't really going to be there too much in terms of surprises. Just because, like you said, like they were literally sweeping all of the awards that had been
100%.
happening over the season. In terms of like the before we get to like what happens at the end and the big awards, the show itself I thought was okay. There was no host, so you had the opening, which was Steve Martin, and Chris Rock. They had some quips out there. They threw some jokes. It was good. It was a little bit, kind of funny. I wish that they would go back to actually having a host. I know Kevin Hart was supposed to host it,
Right.
Which we talked about.
which we did talk
controversy with
about.
that.
So I think it was a big miss for them to not have a host. I looked up; they had a 20% decrease in viewers from last year.
Damn, really?
The Oscars, it's every year it seems to be slowing down in terms of who's watching these things.
I think, but
which
the thing
makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't think that's just because of the host. I
No,
also
I'm
think
not
it's,
saying that it's because of that. I'm saying that just overall, the Oscars are being watched less anyway.
Yeah.
People don't really care too much about award shows anymore. Again, we're in this internet era, which we've mentioned a million times on here, that people don't necessarily all like to sit down and watch something at a specific time. A lot of times people will now they're used to watching things when they want to watch them. So
I think this might be a reach, but at least for me, like we all know that I'm like the liberal on the couch. But even for me, watching a bunch of rich celebrity actors pat themselves on the backs and applaud each other for having the same points of view and giving those kind of speeches, it's I don't know if cringe is the word, but even for me, I
like a
catch
little
myself
much.
rolling my eyes.
Right. A little much.
right.
Because it's like you're in a room full of like-minded people, and I'm not criticizing it. I get it. You want to use the platform and the airtime to try to speak to something,
Right.
But it's still, I can kind of get how people resent it or get annoyed with it. It's like I don't want to see a bunch of they're just rich, successful people congratulating each other and patting themselves on the back.
Right.
I get that attitude towards it. I mean, for the sake of people like us who are trying to actually watch all the films and want to see what gets awarded and for the artistry of it.
Right.
that's fine. But I also am not surprised that like there's a decline in viewership.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's yeah, like you said, yeah, there's nothing super appealing about that at all, and it's become less and less. This was an all-time low for them in terms of rating this year.
Not surprised.
I guess I could see. Yeah, I could see that absolutely.
But I mean, whatever. That's the show. That's what it is. I think it's just going to keep trending downwards. Eventually it's going to get to the point where they're not even going to probably televise this anymore.
You think it'll get to that
long
level?
time from now.
Maybe
But
just
like probably way after, like they probably hit 100 because I think this was what
92, I believe. Yeah.
So I think eventually maybe it'll just get to a point where it's like they're streamed only on the internet or something. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
I
Maybe.
can see that being
I
the
could
case
see that
for
for sure,
streaming.
yeah.
What channel was it on?
It was on ABC.
ABC.
Disney.
Yeah.
Disney. They.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know.
I
mean,
wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. If they just do that.
But at the same time, if and when award shows stop being broadcast on like network television, that is the beginning of the death of network television.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Because what's left of quality on network TV?
I mean, people are already like, for example, like sports are already being. Most people, a lot of times, will have cut their cords and are streaming. They stream sports on MLB TV or NBATV.com.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, look, network television started with the baby boomers, and they're all, for lack of better words, checking out.
Yeah.
Right.
So it makes sense that television could then die with them too.
Yeah,
I
for
always thought that sports, for example, and I use this example because I know it from experience. I always thought that sports was going to continue to be a big thing on TV, on live TV, because it's live. Like when you're watching on TV, there's no delay, and when you're streaming things, more than likely you're going to have like 30 seconds, sometimes a minute delay, but some people don't care. I mean, I've experienced it, and I honestly don't give a shit.
Well, that's the thing. It's like
my friends don't fucking text me
Exactly.
We won like a minute before I see it. Like I'm good. Like I don't
For
care
sure.
about that shit. Like
Because at that point, like you're in your own reality.
Correct.
From what you're assuming that whatever you're watching is live.
Right.
It's there for you.
exactly. So it's
I know people that will just text me knowing like, oh, there's like a soccer game on and being like, yo, don't like text me asking me what's gonna happen. I'm gonna watch it
later.
And
Yes.
it's the same. They see it as
Correct.
it's being live.
Yeah.
It's right there for them. I could see
So-
that. I could see the Oscars being
Yeah.
like a stream worthy thing in a few years. Who knows?
Exactly. I mean, I hope that next year I know
Get
that
us
for
a-
the
get a
100th
host.
episode, for the 100th one, they're going to do something big.
You would
There's
think
no
so.
way they're not going
Massive.
to. It's 100.
It has to be a massive
100
thing.
years of the Oscars.
Yes.
That's
So
literally
they'll
a century. Yeah.
Probably do something very big, but I
gonna
do
be like-
hope that for next year, at the very least, they bring in a host.
Yeah, I think they need a host. I think that's kind of like
yeah.
something that
But the problem
binds
is
it
with
together.
the problem is with hosts is that a lot of them, it's like a real hit or miss. Like
Yes,
Gervais
some,
will do it.
there's real cases where the Oscars host, because the thing is the Oscars is of course the classiest of
Right,
all
yeah,
the shows.
yeah.
Right.
You can't put a Ricky Gervais as a host
No,
of the
no, no.
Oscars
I was going to
because
say, man,
it's
just
so
give it
crude.
to Gervais. Let him
Well, that's
have
why
it.
you have like I think
Ellen did a good job.
The
Ellen was
highlight
good,
to
right.
me in terms of the speaking was Maya Rudolph and
Oh yeah,
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
I was so confused
just
at first
them
by that,
two
but it was
doing
funny.
their little thing back and forth like for 2 minutes on
Yeah.
there was hysterical. It
That
was
was
really
great.
funny.
I'm
And I
actually
would watch
surprised
that
they
throughout the
haven't.
whole show.
Yeah, they're actually really hurt. Maya
Have
Rudolph,
they?
Kristen Wiig, Amy Poehler, and Tina Fey.
I think Amy Poehler and Tina Fey have to.
I would say have they, I was going to say
something.
no,
that
they're
sounds-
the queens of the Golden Globes.
That's
They
what I was gonna say, that
hosted
sounds very,
3 years in a row.
Very
Yeah.
familiar that
Yeah.
those two did something.
They did the Golden Globes 3 years in a row, and they're back next year to do it again. Because those really were hilarious doing
Yeah,
that
they
job.
were
Like
great,
it's so good. I don't see why there can't be just one single host indefinitely until people really start hating it. But
Why not?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to rattle off the winners, a lot of the winners, so we can just kind of make sure
Comment
that we
on it.
don't comment or miss anything. Original screenplay, Parasite, which, I mean, that's already right there. You have an original screenplay. So Parasite out of these movies, to me, was Knives Out, I thought was incredible.
That was a
too.
great screenplay. Yeah.
But yeah, Parasite was good. Adapted screenplay, Jojo Rabbit. I wish I'd seen it.
I'm going to watch that.
Visual effects, 1917. I know when we saw that in 1917 one, we were like, wow. and it beat out like a movie like Avengers Endgame. It beat out Star Wars, The Irishman, Lion King.
So this is when I was kind of surprised that the Irishman didn't win this, just for the sole reason that
The aging
stuff.
yeah.
But then when you see and you hear about the whole shot was filmed in the daytime, and
Right,
they edited
right,
it
right.
tonight,
Yeah.
and you see them filming it.
Yeah, Gab and I saw
it's
that
crazy.
clip that Gab had sent me on Instagram of the scene in 1917 where the kid he's running through this town. It's supposed to be at night, and then he runs through and then jumps in the river. And the entire scene is it's beautifully done. It's supposed to be at night. There's a big fire in the background.
Fire's not even real.
Yeah,
Fire's
they shot
like
it all
nothing's
in the day.
real.
Nothing's real.
The side by side shot, the kid is running, and it's fucking the middle of the day.
Daytime, yeah, and it's like crude made ruins.
Yeah.
It's not
And
even
like holy shit, like.
So then after I saw that, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, now I understand
Right.
why this thing won.
So like that's something that it goes beyond just like taking a CGI lion and putting them in the middle of
Exactly.
I think so. It's a little. You said Star Wars and what else?
Star
Avengers
Wars,
Endgame?
Lion King, Irishman, and Avengers Endgame.
This is where I feel just a little torn about it, is because you have a film like Lion King or those other things where the visual effects, even though they're very obviously visual effects, the
Right.
amount of work and staff that goes into creating those visuals, especially when they're not blemish cleaners or
Right.
trying to just make the image more whatever. You're literally creating movements and
Right.
actions and characters on screen. I do feel bad for those. I think they might not get as much credit simply because it is Marvel. It is,
Right.
But yeah. I also we'll get to more. I guess nominees in a minute, but I have my criticisms. But I still do think out of the Pinky
I have
Up
thoughts about
nominees,
this, too.
so to say, 1917 was probably the shoe-in for it.
yeah.
For the Pinky Up
Pinky Up,
ones.
right?
Yes.
And I have some comments too. When I get to the end, we'll talk about things that I would like the Oscars to change.
Here's your Texas boy.
Achievement in sound mixing, 1917, whatever at sound. Sound editing, Ford versus Ferrari. Obviously,
Which
you have
makes
these
sense.
cars.
That made a
and-
lot
yeah.
of sense.
Live action short film, The Neighbor's Window. Didn't
Wait,
see
live?
these.
Oh, live action.
Live action short film.
Live action, okay.
Animated short film, Hair Love. I saw the first couple minutes of it. It's actually really, really good. Beautifully told little story. I think it's based off of a children's book. Achievement in production design. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's fine. Production design. They did a really good job with Hollywood, old school Hollywood, and all
that's
that.
it. That took me
Which
back.
is just like sucking on the teat of the Academy. So.
Yeah,
Of course.
Oh,
but
course.
still, I mean, while we were watching the movie, I was talking to Gab how it's incredible how they create these movies and everything looks like it's like 1970 whatever.
That's the thing I love the most about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That it felt real.
Yeah, like
The
you
whole thing
walk
felt very real.
into a store and all the stuff in the store, all the logos are all
It's
old,
all time, time
perfectly
period
done
perfect
from
yeah.
that time period.
It's great because the thing about that movie was like a lot of scenes you could tell it like a lot of it was like purposely this only exists to show
Yes.
you the audience
And he
that we got all
all
of
of
it.
it.
And that's
shit
stuff
in
that
this.
Quentin Tarantino does. Like in Pulp Fiction, the Jackrabbit Slims
Uh-huh.
place that they go to, it's not a real place.
Right.
He spent the bulk of the budget in building that just for that scene.
It's ridiculous.
He goes like that extra mile
Right.
just to.
Well, Tarantino, he just loves classic vintage
Yeah, he
Hollywood.
does, loves
right?
it. He
He
loves
loves
So
it.
I mean,
classic
he did
stuff,
Kill
yeah.
Bill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that plays with so many
Right.
classic Hollywood tools and
Yep.
and like styles. So it's funny.
Best. Let's see. Achievement in music. Rocket Man. That's I think the only one that Rocket Man won that award. The music one.
Yeah,
I think so,
I don't
right.
know if snubs the
It's
word.
the one from So it was Elton John and
This might have been outclassed.
Bernie.
I just think
you will.
because like last year there was another movie exactly
like it.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Kinda just-
I mean, I wouldn't say that it was a snub either because again, but I'm glad they gave this something here to Elton John and Bernie. Let's see what we've got here. Music written for motion picture original score Joker, which was good because the score in Joker was really
so
fucking
well done.
good. Achievement in makeup and hairstyling, Bombshell, which was also, I have to give it to them. Charlize Theron did not even look like Charlize Theron.
They did a great
She
job
looked
with
just like Megan Kelly.
Yeah, they did a great job of making
Just like
making
her.
everybody in that
Yes. Look like
the person they're supposed to be portraying.
International Film of the Year, Parasite. That was the big. That one was. We were expecting that one.
Now so. Am I to understand from his acceptance speech that they changed the name of this award leading into this year?
Was.
It used to be best film in a foreign language.
Oh, so now it's
international feature film.
Oh, that's great.
Or it was either in foreign language or non-English language.
No, I think it was foreign.
Foreign language?
Yeah, it was foreign because I know there was foreign in it somewhere.
Okay.
So it was the International Feature Film of the Year, which I actually do like that name.
I think that's a good running title.
Yeah, it kind of puts it on par with Motion Picture of the Year, just obviously the international
version of it, which is
achievement in film editing, Ford vs Ferrari, documentary, documentary short, learning to skateboard in a war zone. If you're a girl, documentary American Factory was for the full feature one. Okay, so then we got the big ones. Costume design, Little Women, which that was pretty good. Achievement in cinematography, 1917. Again, well deserved. The cinematography in that was insane.
There was no one else that could get that. Yeah.
Animated feature film of the year, Toy Story 4.
I pause. Can you please tell me what the other nominees for
The other
were?
four. The other nominees were How to Train Your Dragon, Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Klaus, and Missing Link. I saw Klaus and I saw the beginning of Missing Link.
Yeah, because I haven't seen others of those nominees. I just feel like sometimes I have to say, is the Academy
Even
watching the other ones, or is this a participation award and a handout always to Pixar?
I feel like that's.
I don't know.
Because the record of how many Pixar Frozen 2 wasn't even nominated.
Right.
And I think last year with Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse winning it was because literally there was absolutely no debating it. They created an original style of animation. You couldn't give it to Pixar. But I just think if you look even before then, the winning streak of Pixar before that is bananas.
Well, that's probably something we should pull up and see.
But I mean, I don't know because
and back in the day it was when but Pixar has this style of animation that no one else is doing. Well, guess what, bitch? Everyone's doing it now.
Right, but it's not just the star though. It's not just the style of the animation.
It's the story.
Pixar has for the years just given you a really good story no matter what. So, granted, the sequels on some of these movies haven't been the greatest stories. But I mean, Toy Story 4 was pretty good.
Pretty good, but I do. And again, I can't say because I didn't see the majority of the other ones.
I thought Klaus was good because it was a completely different way of telling us the Santa Claus story, which is great.
Do you know that a Venezuelan worked on that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Klaus is. I think
awesome.
was written or produced by a Venezuelan, but no, me, I'm just kind of like Academy. You might want to. I'm not saying just give a handout, but like,
we don't know. We don't know. We have to watch these. Well, let's table this conversation on the animated for a later time because I do want to watch a couple of these.
Real quick, Pixar's been nominated for 46 Academy Awards, and they've won 16 of them.
Okay,
16.
That's not a terrible percentage.
Okay.
But you got to figure some of the 46 are just like feature like
I'm saying, but my question is for that category specifically, the best animated film.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've got the awards that Gab mentioned earlier, which were the 4 major acting ones: actress in a supporting, leading actress. Supporting male, and then lead actor. We knew they were gonna win. Laura Dern for supporting, Renee Zellweger for leading, Brad Pitt for supporting, and then Joaquin Phoenix for leading actor. So we then got to the best directing and best movie.
And I guess here comes the controversy.
So then there wasn't... I wouldn't call this controversy, but it was a surprise. They gave Parasite both.
Right.
For best director,
and best and movie of the year.
Yeah, here's the thing. Once it won best screenplay and best director, I told Ramel they're going to win picture of the year, because how the fuck do you win screenplay
Screenplay.
and
I
director
didn't believe it at
and
first,
then
but then
don't
I
win picture of the year?
I think all signs started pointing like midway through
I
the
didn't
show.
believe Gab at first, and then because I really thought that they were gonna just kind of give 1917 like the movie of the year just for like the overall project. But no, they gave it to Parasite. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it wasn't deserved. I fucking love Parasite.
The movie is fucking awesome.
But then there was that question
know.
that we got that I think was a very, I guess, thought-provoking and conversation-starting question, which was, if this movie was produced and made in the United States, would it have won Best Picture?
Right.
To which I then say, it's kind of besides the point. What makes the movie special is the fact that it is a Korean film and has been able to make that kind of international sensation that it has. I think that speaks to its merit and to the power of the film.
Right.
But also being said, when people are like, you see on Twitter all the bullshit, it's like, oh, because they're Korean or something like that, and I don't know what other racist bullshit.
It's them trying to. It's the Oscars trying to give like a minority group
a handout
big
because
awards because
the slack.
Everyone complains that it's always Oscars so white or whatever.
But then we haven't. But that just speaks more to their point, which is, so even when we are there, I'll say we, because we're talking about minority groups. Even when we're awarded, we're not at it. Then it's always going to come into question that we're not recognized for our talent, our skill, or our achievement. It will always come down to our ethnicity, our race, our background.
It's always
so we're never
just giving it to
independent
them because they have to for equal rights.
I hate that.
Yeah.
But it's also part of the conversation of inequity and how you're telling me that in the 92 years, almost the century of the Oscars, a foreign language film has not won Best Picture. That's actually extremely telling of how far behind we are in regards to these conversations and why now you are getting these reactions of like, it's a handout because they're minorities. Because you're not used to seeing people that look different from you have these get this kind of recognition. So it feels foreign, it feels robbed, and it feels like a handout because you do not consider. This probably sounds harsh, but you're probably not subconsciously considering their work as up par to what might be produced domestically.
They've taken everything that's been great foreign. They've just been pushing them into the best foreign film category.
Yeah,
not letting it transcend that into the best movie of the year.
Just because it was made somewhere else, why can't it be the film of the year?
So that's the only reason why this was to some people like what, because they're like, oh well, it already won best foreign film, so why does it have to win that?
Because
it was better than the rest.
It was a good fucking movie.
When we're talking about the Academy was best. Which is, again, we'll also have to remember this is a subjective game. There's no such thing as measuring a better film than another. It's all opinion. But looking at and comparing it to the other nominees, because we all believe that 1917 was the shoo-in for Film of the Year.
Yeah.
However, it did win for cinematography and visual effects, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Which is what was the most jaw-dropping of the movie.
Correct.
However, we have seen World War I and World War II films. Mm-hmm. We have seen White War movies. We have seen... These aren't new concepts.
Yeah, new concepts.
Was Parasite entirely a new concept? No. I guess we have seen American films that touch on the haves and the have-nots.
I actually disagree with the idea that if you were to make, let's say, Parasite with a white cast, for example, could be any other race.
Okay.
But if you were to put them in a white cast, I think with the right actors, I still think it would have done pretty well.
I think it would have done well, but I don't think it would have been recognized as an Academy Award-nominated film.
I don't know.
Because I think it told power. What I found most powerful about the movie is how it was able to seamlessly blend comedy and eeriness and suspense. It did really
right, but you can do that with other actors.
You can do that with other actors, but
it's the right actors, like these guys. And I guess for us,
I think a comparable movie, not in terms of its subject matter, but in terms of its tone use, would be Get Out, of how it was able to take serious dialogue in terms of society, but apply it through a lens of a genre in film, but then also incorporate multiple genres into one.
Because they did do that very well.
Because that's what Get Out did. It made it. They made a horror comedy, and it wasn't tacky. That's fucking. And actually, I wish we had a fact checker, because what the fuck did Get Out get nominated for anything? I know that horror movies don't really get recognized, even though I don't. It's not really horror, more like suspense thriller. But it kind of danced that same.
It won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay.
Get Out did?
Yes.
Okay, so the same award that Parasite just won.
Yes.
Parasite Best Original Screenplay. Because
also best. Okay.
Because it is seamless. It was
nominated for Best Picture.
And Get Out was nominated for Best Picture. Right. So I guess, Ramel, that's to your favor and to your point, and I guess I would agree. Then I guess you're right. Is that the elements that the film created of seamlessly tying these different genres together, even if it wasn't an all-white cast, that it would have gotten that recognition.
Yeah.
That being said, then there's no reason that just because it's an all-Korean cast, it shouldn't have gotten the recognition.
No, exactly. Of course. That's why. I mean, I thought 1917 was to me was the better movie, but that's just my opinion.
Your opinion, yeah.
But I'm not. It's not like it's. Parasite winning doesn't make it in my head doesn't automatically mean, oh damn it, 1917 got snubbed.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't
discredit or anything like that.
Yeah, I loved Parasite, just slightly like a little less.
Yeah,
so
I could see that. Yeah,
them winning it, I thought well deserved. It had to be someone,
right?
And they gave it to them. They had an original idea. It was a war movie isn't an original idea.
No.
You know what I mean? Granted, this was 1917 was a really original way of depicting
showing
a war
movie.
With the whole one-shot thing and how it was filmed.
Beautiful,
and just telling the story without even having to have it be so gory and explosive. But, I mean, take Parasite, you put really good actors at each one of those roles.
You think
and they're white people, and it'll be just as good.
Okay. On that note, we also should clarify for anyone listening,
or Latinos,
that
or anybody
doesn't
else.
mean that we think there needs to be a Parasite remake.
No, definitely not.
That's not what we're saying at all.
And I love it the way that it is. There doesn't need to be. And I'm not saying this because I want there to be a white version.
But it's also worth commenting, because on Twitter I have seen people tweet, or there have been articles like, "Ooh, will Parasite get a U.S. version?" And then it's very important to highlight
HBO
giving it a U.S. version does not make the movie or its art or its style valid.
Exactly,
it's valid with the cast that it has and the creation that it has, and it does not need anything else.
I know that we talked about how Parasite got signed.
Yeah, HBO's going to do some type of
creator
series.
got signed to do. He said that it's supposed to be like a sequel series, but it's like a.
I'm actually concerned about it.
It's tied to it, but it's not really a sequel to it.
I don't know what they're going to do with it. It's got the Parasite name. That's all I know.
Don't milk it too
whatever
much.
it is, I just I don't care. I would rather them keep the subtitles all Korean.
I'm fine with that.
And don't try to milk this story that we already saw. Like if he has an idea for extending this story,
fine.
And it's still like a unique extension of the story, great. But don't do this again, just like repeatedly in over 3-4 seasons. Of
I don't. Yeah, we don't need.
Don't need that,
and that's the concerning part, I think, for sure.
Right.
I don't want to see something that had so much success get whored.
Yes,
is essentially my
watered
concern.
Down,
Don't whore it.
The only thing that makes me kind of relieved is that HBO is the one that's involved in this.
True, it makes a little.
And HBO doesn't
got their
usually
shit
fuck
together.
things up too bad.
Right. So the final season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Unlike the Game of Thrones, correct.
But
then again, that wasn't their fault. That was the writer's fault. And HBO literally gave them blank checks and said,
you're going to start acting kind of crazy when you have that much money.
And the guys just quit. The guys just flat out quit.
They got all the money and they just half. Anyway, that was last. Sorry.
We are
Sorry.
very scarred by that still.
We-
It's
we-
very tender, very sad.
There's a couple things that we keep going back to in this
Batman,
podcast.
how much Game of Thrones sucked.
Yeah.
Batman.
By the
Yeah, I
way, hate to break it to you, but last week the streak died.
we didn't.
God,
we didn't talk
Not-
about Batman
we
last
did
week. Not
mention
once.
it. Did not mention it.
That's very sad. That actually hurts.
Can someone play "Thank You" by Dido? Because that's
That actually really hurts, man.
Actually, no, you
memories.
might want to get that as a sound drop. Just that opening of that song.
Yeah, man. That was the Oscars.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oscars in a nutshell.
I also don't
Parasite.
actually. Whatever. It's fun. I like the Oscars because they just give us a really diverse list of films to see.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that we get to enjoy, and they're things I wouldn't have picked up by myself. The same way, like when people recommend a book to me because I suck at picking on my own,
Right.
And they were all of course they were Oscar-nominated films. They were all fantastic.
I think that's my favorite thing about the Oscars is that when I know the Oscars are coming up, it just gives me this reason to
we got 6 to
Start
9
seeing
and
movies.
watch
some
a
good
fuck ton of
films.
movies that I
Yeah.
know are going to be
Yep.
good movies.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would not have seen Parasite.
No.
if it
No,
wasn't
no
that.
one would have
no,
seen
no.
it here
You know,
because
like, I
there's
would.
a-
I just so like I love that part. The
Same,
Oscar season
yes.
comes around. It's like I'm gonna check this out.
I would not have seen Knives Out. I would not have seen. I doubt I would have seen Marriage Story.
I don't know if I would have seen
definitely
it.
not have seen Little Women. Would not have seen. Probably,
I would not have seen 1917 for the sole
Yeah,
fact
yeah,
that you know
yeah.
I don't like
You would
war
not have
movies.
seen
I
1917.
wouldn't have gotten out of my way to acquire a way of watching 1917.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
100%.
these are all movies. Yeah, I mean, these
Even
are just,
like last season too, like with the Green Book and stuff like
Right.
that. I wouldn't
half
have
of
gotten
these
out of
movies
that,
you,
yeah.
you wouldn't think twice. to
Yo, guys, in hindsight, Green Book, what the fuck?
see.
That
All
is.
right, we're not going.
can't
We're
go
not going
back.
that.
We
We
can't
already
go
we
back.
gave them a long discussion last year.
Sorry, you're right. I'm just like, God, it's so bad.
Love when Willy Wonka does this.
The hustle.
The hustle, like fucking
I'm an old decrepit man, dead.
and then just
Oh, and I'm
tumble
back,
right in front of
baby.
Can
everybody.
you imagine you just fucked up, broke his neck, and it's like end of the movie?
And
Curb
roll
your
credits.
Curb Your Enthusiasm end credit theme. Wait. Speaking of really great movies, and movies that we adore and that deserve those kind of accolades and recognition, what about the movies that suck and are Razzie?
Wow,
nominated?
good transition, my
Razzies.
friend.
The Razzies.
The Razzie nominations came out, folks, and if you're a listener of the 17 Waverly podcast, you know that the Razzies are very important to us.
Much more important than the Oscars.
We don't just like movies that are good. We like to laugh at the movies that are fucking trash.
100%.
And there's one about some felines that I can't wait to engage.
All right, actually, let's bring back the Oscars real quick. That little thing that Rebel Wilson and what's the freaking
yeah, the
what's his
cats
name did.
bit.
That was good. That was good.
just
That
when
was
they,
good.
when they were swatting the mic,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like that ad lib was fucking amazing.
Yeah, that was
I could have watched that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Rebel Wilson has fully embraced the failure of that movie, and I love it because
100%.
she at the.
I actually think all of them kind of have.
I haven't heard Idris joke once.
Well, I mean, because he's Idris Elba. He's not gonna fucking.
I know, but like I would love. Now I haven't heard Taylor Swift either.
True.
I've only seen the I've only seen the comedians
that are
embrace the
whatever,
book.
You know
Yeah.
Taylor Swift isn't going to
No,
joking
because
about
her
it.
ego won't let her. But I, what's it called? Rebel Wilson at the BAFTAs was like, we know that like conservation or something like that is like the theme of the night. So this is I used 2 recycled dresses to make this one.
Yeah.
And it's like the red was like, this is from me not winning Miss Australia. And it's like, and then this black dress is from a funeral I wore to the for the funeral for the movie Cats.
She's great.
Worst picture of the Razzies this year will be the 40th annual Golden Raspberry Award, aka the
been
Razzies.
around for 40.
Yeah.
That's
That's
impressive.
older than us.
They have not announced
that's impressive.
where or when the winners will be announced, which is kind of sketchy and
Probably in a
strange.
subway.
But they did announce the nominees, and the nominees for the worst picture of the year is Cats,
Yep, it's gonna win.
The Fanatic, The Haunting of Sharon Tate, Medea, Family Funeral, and Rambo, Last Blood.
The only one of those I actually want to watch is Cats.
Yeah.
I want to watch Cats. I do want to watch The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
What the fuck is that?
It's the haunting of Sharon. So it's funny that we saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's the same, like, it's Sharon Tate, but I don't know what happens.
I read the premise. Let me fill you guys in.
Let me hear it.
Okay, so what this is about is basically, if I'm not mistaken, thanks to the magic of Wikipedia, is that Hilary Duff, who plays Sharon Tate, so she's getting like premonitions leading up to the day of that she's gonna get murdered. As in, like, her and the friends that all die that night, like, they just like have visions of it or something like that. And that's all I'll say, basically, if you really want to see the movie. But like, basically, like, they kind of like foresee this horrific death coming.
This is why we need to be like on camera, because if you could see the face I was making during that,
Jesus,
which is also disrespectful,
a little bad,
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're having premonition, why wouldn't you just be walking on eggshells for the next? Like, lock the doors, triple thick. You know, let's make sure no crazy people can get in.
Where are the visions taking place? Because maybe you want to not be there.
Oh, I got murdered in my living room. You know, I'll probably go out. I'm pregnant. I know I'm pregnant, but I'm probably gonna go out for a little bit.
Go get a hotel room for a few nights.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna quickly go down. I'm gonna quickly go down the list of the actual awards, which there isn't a lot of.
For the Razzies?
And the nominees. Worst actress, you've got Hilary Duff for Sharon Tate. Anne Hathaway in Hustle and Serenity, the movie with Robert Wilson. Francesca Hayward in Cats. Tyler Perry as Medea in a Medea Family Funeral. And Rebel Wilson in The Hustle, also with Anne Hathaway. Worst supporting actress, Jessica Chastain in Dark Phoenix. Cassie Davis, Medea Family Funeral. Judi Dench in Cats. Vanessa Pineda, Rambo First Blood. Rebel Wilson, Cats.
I think Rebel's going to be coming out with some hardware.
Worst supporting actor, James Corden, Cats. Bruce Willis in Glass. Seth Rogen in Zeroville. Tyler Perry twice as Joe in Medea and Uncle Heathrow.
Oh my God, that's so blatantly disrespectful to Tyler Perry. That is just fucking using his life as a tissue.
Worst actor, James Franco in Zeroville. David Harbour as Hellboy, which was fucking terrible.
Oh, I don't know if I can do it.
Matthew McConaughey in Serenity. No. Sylvester Stallone in Rambo, Last Blood. And John Travolta in The Fanatic and Trading Paint.
I am not letting my man McConaughey walk out with a Razzie. He's
Worst
amazing in everything.
Screen combo.
Oh, fuck.
That's a category?
Yeah. This is where the categories start to get a little strange. Actually, no. I'll do worst screen combo after. It's worst director next. Fred Durst. The Fanatic.
Fred Durst.
Hell yeah,
the
baby.
Fanatic.
Limp Bizkit guy did a film?
I don't know if that's the same guy. Please look that up.
It's gotta be.
Fred Durst, The Fanatic. James Franco, Zeroville. Adrian Grunberg, Rambo. Tom Hooper, Cats. Neil Marshall, Hellboy. Worst screenplay, Cats, Haunting of Sharon Tate, Hellboy, Medea, and Rambo. Okay, so then you've got worst screen combo. Any two half feline, half human hairballs. Cats. Jason Derulo and his CGI neutered bulge.
Oh my God.
Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry or Tyler Perry. Sylvester Stallone and his impotent rage. And John Travolta and any screenplay he accepts.
That's amazing. And
those are all the worst screen combos.
And yes, this is
the actual Fred Durst.
Limp Bizkit Fred Durst, who directed this film.
I love how these awards are not just recognizing the worst performances; they're just blatantly disrespectful.
Worst remake, ripoff, or sequel: Dark Phoenix, Godzilla, King of Monsters, Hellboy, Medea, and Rambo.
Wait, Godzilla, King of Monsters was that bad?
I mean, I liked it, but
I was gonna say, did you watch it?
I think you're fishing there because the only contender there is Dark Phoenix. That
Dark Phoenix and maybe Rambo. Because
worst reckless disregard for human life and public property.
Any Fast and the Furious film.
I'm sorry, if I won that award, I would fly to win to accept
for that one. I'm about.
I would go
Dragged Across Concrete, Haunting of Sharon Tate, Hellboy, Joker, and Rambo.
What?
And then the last.
I hope
award is the Razzie Redeemer Award.
What does that mean?
I think this is for actors that have won worst actors in the past, but they've redeemed themselves with good movies.
Okay.
So like, come on over.
So Eddie Murphy, Dolomite, Keanu Reeves, John Wick 3, and Toy Story 4, Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems, Jennifer Lopez, Hustlers, and Will Smith, Aladdin.
That's definitely what it was then. Okay.
Yeah. So that's actually hilarious.
I would go to the Razzies and accept my goddamn fucking.
yeah.
Is there any way that a podcast can be be for a Razzie? Because I feel like we could definitely.
Definitely.
I have
we
an
could make
idea.
a sweep. We could clean house.
I have an idea. Let's take this podcast to the next level. When we start filming it, let's film like 17 Waverly Podcast, the movie, and it'll be just us in like everyday
try
life.
To make it the worst movie
Yeah.
of all time.
Oh, as long as there's us being cool guys walking away from explosions, like
Boone Mike slipping
But the
in and out of the
explosions are gonna be
picture.
Very crude because none of us know how to do video editing.
It'll be clear that like it's fake, like Matchbox car and like a match, just like
Every scene will be very obviously in front of a green screen.
absolutely.
I also
Totally
want.
done
I also
with
want
at
Power
that.
Rangers editing. Like the foot goes in front of the camera,
Camera, yeah.
and we pretend like, huh.
yeah. We got
That would be fantastic.
Why the hell's Wonka petting
the
this
movie
kid's
with
head?
the movie with the most nominations is Cats with 9.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be a shoo-in for a few of them.
Guys, I feel like that's going to be an episode entirely. Is just us watching, reviewing Cats.
We're going, well, that's why we have to do that as an After Dark episode. Just
Correct.
liquored up and
Correct.
loose.
Yeah,
might
so that's
scare
the
me.
Razzies, the Oscars. Trying to see what else happened this week. Gab and I saw this very surprise of a show on Apple TV called Little America. We'll go a little serious with this for the next for these couple minutes.
Oh boy,
It's a very good show. It's created by the same guy as The Office. I think his name is like Jesse Eisenberg or something like that.
that's the guy from
the
the
guy
Facebook film.
from
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse
Something Eisenberg
from what?
from The Office. He's one of the creators of The Office.
Oh,
And the guy from Dinesh.
yep.
Dinesh was another creator, and the girl that's with him, that's the main girl that's with him in the movie Lovesick. His like counterpart in the movie, the girl, she's also the other creator.
Okay.
So
the actress?
The actress, yes.
Okay, not because. Okay.
So it's just basically what it is it's this eight episodes. Each episode is its own little story. They're 30-minute episodes, and each episode is about a specific immigrant or immigrant family in the United States.
Okay.
And it's their story of either how they got here or how they're doing while they're here, or what they're how they're living, or whatever the hell it is.
How immigration might have
Immigration
affected
has
their lives.
them. I watched the first. I had no idea that it was even on. Like Apple doesn't do any fucking
Like advertising,
marketing or
really,
advertising
yeah.
for this
They
shit.
just drop their shit.
So I was bored on Friday, and I'm like, let me just look for something to watch, see if Apple has put anything new out. And I came across it, and I looked at it, and I was all right, cool. Let me try this. I looked it up. It's about immigration, so I'm like, all right, let me just give this a try. 30-minute episodes, whatever. Put the first one on, cried.
Wow.
Put the second one on, cried. Third one, cried. Fourth one, cried. I cried probably 6 out of the 8 episodes.
So they're like just very deep.
But it's
not
supposed
even-
to be a comedy.
They're dramedies.
Oh.
They're
Dramedies.
They're dramedies. What they do is like they make you smile, and each one has at least one or two like laugh moments,
Right.
And they keep you like grinning the
but
whole
they're just
thing.
like
and
they're
feel
also
good.
very real.
But the thing is that it's not that there's a stretch of time that makes you get emotional cry. It's a quick fucking Muhammad Ali just jab
of
Yes.
something.
and then
Jab
all of a sudden,
emotion.
like the wind's knocked out of you and you start crying.
Yeah.
Because of how quick and just precise it is, where it's meant to
Really?
get you.
Right.
And you know something's coming. Like each you catch on to the structure of the episodes pretty quickly that
Right.
they're all building kind of to something, and then but you don't know what it's going to be, and when it drops it, you're just like, oh, okay,
Right.
And then you
First
start
All
first episode, for example, I'll give you the first episode, for example. It's about a little kid and his family, his mom and dad. They're an Indian family, and they run a little motel. Also, the show shot almost entirely in New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
There's one scene in one of the episodes where Stacey's like, "That's in Caldwell, right across the street from the ShopRite or whatever," and it's literally like there.
Nice. All right.
So the first episode, like it's a little like he's like got to be 12, and he is at the hotel with his parents. His parents run this hotel, this motel, and it's just like basically like these are immigrant Indian family, whatever. The dad tells him, hey, like, if you study all these words in this dictionary, you know, I'll buy you a Trans Am when you're old enough.
Oh.
So this kid is just, like, obsessed with, like, reading the dictionary and, like, learning these words. So, of course, like, you were like, all right, well, this kid's obviously going to be really good at spelling bees. He starts spelling really well, whatever. Towards, like, the middle, his parents get deported.
Oh.
And he's left by himself because he was born here with the parents leave him with a friend of theirs. And they tell the friend, hey, just watch the kid and run the hotel with him. Huh. And so the kid's like, okay. So the kid's obviously a really smart kid. He starts to study all his words and goes to the spelling bee where in school, the lady told him, hey, if you win the spelling bee, you can go to D.C. and go to the national, you know, bee, spelling bee, whatever, the Scripps, whatever.
Scripps, right.
So he goes, that's a good idea. Let me win this fucking spelling bee so that the winner gets to talk to the first lady.
Huh?
So he's like, I'm going to take this opportunity because he's been writing to the government letters, please bring my parents home.
Let my parents come back.
And so he does it. He goes gung-ho, goes to the spelling bee, wins gets to the finals where he then gets to talk to the first lady. He gets up in front of the first lady, tells her this whole thing. The first lady goes, I can't help you, blah, 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 blah. Very sad moment. Mm. He goes back. He's dejected. He obviously lost the spelling bee, but it cuts to like 10 years later. He's now the manager of the hotel, and he's like a kid that's like probably early 20s. Uh-huh. And he's just like, doesn't really you can tell he just doesn't give a shit about life. And his parents still aren't back. So it's been like fucking 10 plus years. Huh. So then at the end, this kid's just miserable, whatever. And then at the end, he gets a call. It's like late at night. His parents are finally allowed back. Whatever paperwork came through or whatever. They come back. And then like that last moment where there's a moment where they're in their room and he's in his room and he wakes up like scared, like almost like a nightmare. And then he's like, fuck. And then he runs to their room to see if they're there. And they're not there. And you're thinking, oh, he's that traumatized about this whole thing that he thinks that them not being there, that them having come back was a dream. Right. But in reality, he opens the next door and they're in the little living room area watching TV because they were jet lagged. And they couldn't go to sleep. So then, but that whole scene is so powerful because you're just thinking,
like, oh my God,
holy shit! Like,
it wasn't.
He was thinking that it wasn't real. He woke up in a panic because it wasn't real.
Oh man!
And then of course, then he goes and he sits in front of them, and like they're watching TV all happy, and he sits there and he starts crying because they're like his actual parents are right there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, like you just it cuts
That's wholesome.
deep. It cuts deep.
That's wholesome.
But the thing is, each episode is based on true stories.
Oh, really?
So then
that's what I want.
That's
worse. Okay, that's
because
what I want
before
to know,
the credits roll,
right.
and it's not that they give you necessarily an update. They just give you either an update or just like a little fun bit of fucking information that just makes you get emotional. But then at the end, it's like he's still to this day he runs the motel with his parents, and it showed a picture of them. But
that last image that they give you at the end of the episode, where it's like the real one, that's when, to me, those are like some of like those jabs, because you go through this entire episode and it's super emotional, and then you realize in that split second, somebody actually went through this.
This is real, yeah.
And actually did this, and it's just like it's
wow. Yeah.
Not offering opinion for or against, but providing context in terms of just a layer of what was happening in the episode. The parents were deported, and they say specifically is because they overstayed their visa. Okay. The reason why they were gone for so long, and you see that time change until he's basically in his early 20s, is because if you overstay your visa, ranging a certain amount of time, which they obviously did the max, when you leave, then you're barred from coming back for a decade. So you can't apply for a visa or return for 10 years.
Okay. Right. So that makes... Okay.
Right. So that's why even he said, like, we're writing letters and stuff, it's obviously a policy that they're not very lenient on, regardless of the fact that they have a U.S. citizen child who's alone in a motel. Yeah. But that's the thing. So I think not every episode is a criticism on or a commentary on our immigration system, but rather just the immigrant experience, being first generation or just whatever. I think it really is fantastic. They are funny, we swear. They can be very emotional. And a lot of them are universal stories because immigrant stories are human stories, and they're just. And I think it really highlights the power of story and how it can. I think we saw a little bit when we were seeing the promo for that short documentary series about like gay rights in the history of the United States, where it's like when you see yourself reflected on screen, it humanizes even more, especially when you can see a group of people that don't belong necessarily to your group. It can bridge and create a connection. The same way, to bring it a little bit back to the Oscars, the power of the film Parasite. It told a universal story through the lens of a different culture, country, and language, but you could still, even though if you didn't understand the language they were speaking, through their tone, their mannerisms, the beauty of their acting, the editing, the music, you were still able to feel the entire film, regardless if you knew the words or not.
Exactly.
Right.
And the story of class that pertains to every culture and nation and history. So I think it's a great thing to see. Definitely embrace stories with subtitles and that pertain to groups of people and cultures that aren't your own, because you find out that you have, even though people are terrified to realize this because it would mean making them human, that you're all actually very much the fucking same.
Right. Yep.
And if you did do that, the problem with that is then you would have to recognize that we have a real human problem with how we treat people who don't look or act or pertain to our history.
Yep.
That's well done.
Yeah.
Well said.
So that's Little America. I really recommend it. Most people watch that. Some people won't
That's
care.
on Apple TV, you said?
Yeah, Apple TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
8 episodes, super short. We saw it all in one night.
Half hour.
30 minutes. We literally watched it. I started at like 8 o'clock, and it ended at like 1 o'clock, and it was awesome. It was
Okay,
worth it.
cool.
All right, so I guess we'll finish with like just a bunch of like random tidbit stuff. I wanted to get to some things that I didn't like about the Oscars, but I'd rather wait for a longer period of time to talk about it.
Okay.
Because I think it's a longer discussion in terms of what they should do. Okay, so I found out today that Danny Trejo, you know Danny Trejo?
Of course, yeah.
Who's Danny Trejo?
The like Mexican actor
Mexican guy
that he's
in
always
everything.
in a bunch of movies. He's got like a bunch of scars.
He's got the tattoo.
Oh,
of the-
yeah,
the
he did
woman.
Machete.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go, Machete.
He has topped Christopher Lee as the most killed actor in Hollywood with 65 on-screen deaths.
See, I don't want to make it political, but like, is that racism? Like, what is
No,
that?
I think that's just him choosing these roles.
He was in, I think, Desperate.
He's the Latino Samuel L. Jackson.
Exactly. He's been in.
He's just in every.
He's been in a lot of movies that Quentin Tarantino's had a
Yes.
part of,
Yeah.
playing multiple roles
Yeah.
in the same movie,
Yes.
dying
Yes.
in the same movie multiple times.
Can he be recognized for something?
I think he has.
I think he has been, but I think I would like to recognize him right now. I'm giving him his flowers. You're a legend, Danny Trejo.
I love Danny Trejo, man.
He did fucking Spy Kids. We need to give him respect.
exactly.
We can
That's what I'm talking about, man.
He
One of these
transcended
days-
generations.
One of the days we're going to talk about his filmography.
He's in some fucking.
He's
bangers.
in some
Yeah.
shit. I mean, I just remember that my first real interaction with that actor was Spy
Kids. Yeah,
Yes.
that movie was great.
The
movie.
translator that Bong Joon-ho used at the Oscars is writing her own movie about Oscar season.
Huh.
So that's pretty interesting.
Please make it somewhat comedic, because that would be
It's gotta be funny.
Knives Out 2 is getting a sequel.
Fine. I just don't see why, but fine.
How's it gonna happen? Who else
And
are gonna kill?
Lionsgate is hinting that they're gonna turn it into a franchise.
Turn what into a
Here's
franchise?
Hollywood.
Knives
Thank
Out.
you for
Knives Out.
fucking up one
If
of the best
something
movies I've
kind
seen
of
this
works,
decade.
we
Yep.
just beat it to death.
I know this is pertaining to what we were talking about before. Mark Ruffalo has been eyed to star in Parasite the series on HBO. So already we're going white, baby.
Crickets, just crickets from me.
Let's see what else.
Instead of using the opportunity to create more opportunity for Asian or Korean actors, let's get away. All right, fine.
Rick Moranis closed deal to return to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise.
Is this recorded on this podcast? Us talking about Rick Moranis and missing him?
at
might
some
have
point,
been,
I think we had
actually,
to.
yeah.
No,
talk
but it was
about
like there's magic in words. We were literally talking about this, watching Honey, I
I
Shrunk
know.
the Kids,
Yeah.
and I was going off on how I fucking miss
Or
Rick
maybe
Mo-
it wasn't on camera, Gab. I think it was.
It wasn't
off.
recorded. It was off.
just like-
mic.
No, we need to have microphones on
Candid-
us at all
Just a
times.
candid thing.
So
It's
going to be
10
called Shrunk.
Fuck,
They're
all right.
rebooting the series. It's just going to be called Shrunk, and he's back for it. He signed the
I've
deal.
missed him so much.
So this whole thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Okay, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, we're doing that.
We're going this. We're going to end this with this.
We're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
The reason why I wanted to talk about this was because I keep reading new updates on this, and so from what I know, Angelo,
Okay, let's hear this.
she over the course of a few years or whatever accused Johnny Depp of hitting her,
Okay,
and
so
abusing her
a
and
little
all this
bit,
shit.
okay.
Johnny Depp was not canceled, but he was
Postponed, if you will.
yes for a time. I think they were considering taking him off the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like Disney was not happy. All this shit.
Okay.
Apparently, recently came out that Amber Heard actually was lying,
They made this shit up.
and they had a audio recording of a phone call between Amber and Johnny.
He recorded her, right?
He recorded her, where in the phone call she's basically outing herself, saying, like, I hit you, like
Stop being a pussy
like,
or
stop
something.
being a pussy, like man the fuck up, like basically berating the guy. So this was like, I think this was like maybe like a week or so ago.
Okay.
Maybe 2. So then everybody on Twitter was like, freedom for Johnny.
Oh, yeah, freedom for Johnny.
Freedom for Johnny and all this shit.
Can we just say to? I know she's under a lot of heat for her, I guess, anti-trans commentary. But I remember when he was cast for Crimes of Grindelwald, and people were like destroying J.K. Rowling on Twitter because they're like, "How could you do that to Amber Heard? Like you're a woman,
Yeah.
blah blah."
Right.
And she was under so much heat for casting him, and then her reps had come out and said like she has had extensive conversations with Mr. Depp, and like after a long period of conversation, like she decided like that, essentially in a really diplomatic legal speech, saying she doesn't believe a goddamn thing
right.
she's saying.
So
But
it was supposed to be a trial that was supposed to happen in February, but then it got moved to August because Amber was, pushing for more time. So Johnny submitted 87 videos of Amber Heard's attacks. So he had all this shit just locked and loaded.
Oh, he kept his receipts. Johnny, you dirty motherfucker. I love it.
Apparently there were 40 witnesses.
So
I
Amber
mean,
was beating Johnny.
she was the one abusing the shit out of him
And then she
for
flipped
a
it.
long time. And was flipping it a lot.
Amber,
she's
you-
about to lose Aquaman.
That was the point of what I
This is where you were going.
You
This is
brought
where
this up
This
for-
was what you put in the GPS.
Yeah.
Is it getting there? All right.
So it turned. Apparently, also just to add fuel to this thing, she was also putting fake bruises on herself. That came out.
What?
Yeah. And then Amber Heard, and then I read today that right now DC is mulling what they're going to do with her, and that whether or not they should fire her, because what do we think here? Do they? You have to fire her, right?
She's gone.
Does someone else want to go first before I?
That bitch is canceled.
You
Gone.
have to fire her at this point, regardless of how successful Aquaman was.
It's
You
one
have
thing.
to fire.
It's one thing. It's one thing to like make shit up when you're actually the person doing it.
Correct.
But if you're gonna take it to the level where you're gonna put on fake bruises and
Yes.
shit and actually try to validate your bullshit, now you fucked up. The pie is in her face.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn to go, and I'm just gonna have to disappoint everyone. I'm totally fucking kidding. Yeah, she's fired.
She has
to be fired. I think.
You know
I
what
think
I mean?
when we're talking equity and we're talking equal consideration, domestic violence is domestic violence.
Right.
We like to joke, and the things that she says because I heard the recording with you.
Yeah.
The things that she says to him on the recording is what men say to other men when it's like they're like, "Oh, a girl hit you, like man up, you pussy, like who cares?"
Yeah.
Physical violence is still physical fucking violence and should not be happening
Correct.
within your home and within a marriage. I'm not saying, and I think especially in the case, I mean, the man's very smart. He has recordings of all of it. Like,
yeah, that's that. I was when I read that, I was like, okay, this man is ready to rock.
but at the same time, you have to be. Why? Because I honestly, just for the record, I don't consider this to be necessarily unfair, just because of the weight of it, a weight of the difference between what. This sounds sexist, but like there just is. There's a difference between being beat by a man, being beat by a woman. There's just a difference, and so. The system favors the voice. I think the system will always favor the voice of a woman who's claiming domestic abuse. And as it should, but as a man, if you are innocent, you better fucking have some receipts.
Yeah. And Homeboy came with the receipts.
And he has the receipts because the default is we need to listen to her. We have to hear what she has to say. We have to take this seriously. There has to be an investigation. And if you want to nip that in the bud, you better have some receipts.
I should have probably played this before, but let me just for those.
You cannot automatically. You cannot think that it's just my side. You're fucking killing me. Your fucking people are trying to kill me. You've turned me into a. My boy has to go to school. My boy goes to school and has kids go. So your fucking dad's a wife beater? You don't think about that.
Well, I didn't hear this.
You don't think that's also my family and all the death threats that me and every single person in my immediate circle of friends and family is getting also matters? And you don't think I
death threats?
You people put this out. You didn't want this out. Why?
Yeah, this is the extended. I think these extended audio.
I can't hear her. Yeah.
Proactive measure. Then why did you or your divorce attorney get the file for divorce? Period. At all. Second, why did she have to go and get it to TMZ? Why, if you wanted it private, is TMZ being fed information literally by Laura Walker and Marty Singer every step of the way? My arrest record? What's next in the media? The rumors that I was a stripper? Of course I can expect that next. I've known every step of the way, every single step of the way, everything you do.
Oh wait, no, this isn't it.
I'd give him.
Oh, this is.
I'd give him.
I also really want to. I want to understand also, just for the sake of my curiosity and the tea.
Yeah.
What did he do to make you so fucking pissed? Like she hates this guy on these tapes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She like hates this dude. I'm like, I want to know. I'm not like taking it away from her because I don't know the context. I'm just really curious, objectively want to know like. What the?
Because she's obviously got daggers for him, trying to ruin his fucking career.
Right. So I'm like, what did he do?
He brings up a great point. But like, I'm like I have to drop my kid off at school, and like, oh, your dad's a fucking white beater. It's like it's a malicious thing. That's a legit consequence here. That now the kid
after he fucking got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, "Come up here," because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's coming to what? Save me?
No, go ahead. Continue. You. Travis did the rest.
This is the actual.
That was the last
This is when
one.
she outs herself.
You go. That was the last insult.
Oh, yeah. You called me a liar, and yet.
I watched you lie.
You called me a liar.
I watched you lie. I heard it. I was right there.
There's no what. You still haven't told me what lie it is. But yet, every single fucking time. You know you do this every single fucking time.
We'll talk to Travis.
I'm not fucking talking to nobody.
No,
fuck that. You go fucking jerk him off. I don't care.
Go jerk him
I really
off.
could care less. It's you every single time. You latch onto some sort of thing. When I already told you, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. You still haven't even told me what it is. But run with it.
I have told you what it is.
No, you haven't.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You
Yeah.
told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing. And you
figured
in
it
the
out.
face. And you said, no, fucking, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I watched you lie. And then
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit
punched
you
me
across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, even a lot of fights been around a long time. I know. Yeah,
No, when you fucking have a closed
You
fist.
didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like
got
this.
hit.
But I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
You can't
I don't know
deck
what
me.
the motion of my actual hand was.
Are they in
but
the same
you're
room, or is this like
fine.
over the
Not
phone?
hurt you,
I don't
not
know.
punch
I
you.
can't
I
tell.
was
It
hitting
sounds
you.
like they're in the
Oh,
same
you're
room
saying-
because she
How
looks like
am I
she's
supposed to
coming
do
in
this?
and out of
Oh,
the
you're
mic.
I'm
close.
not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
That's
you-
the difference
you
between
poor
me and
toad.
you. You're
Yo, Johnny.
Yeah. So that's pretty
That's
wild.
some
man.
drama.
Don't
huh?
get married, guys. I don't know. That's
It's
all
pretty
I can-
fucking wild. But yeah, so Amber Heard, please get canceled. Get the hell out of here. You're a psycho.
Yeah, that's some fucked up.
All
shit.
right,
insane.
let's get.
I'm
get
not
on
gonna.
that.
I'm not gonna
I do think
call
that there
her
has
names.
to
That's
be.
some fucked up shit.
Let's say a little bit more in a civil manner. Like I do think that she should be fired from Aquaman. I think if we're not rewarding,
trash.
if we don't want, okay, god damn it, if we don't want to reward or tolerate that behavior from men, then it needs to be across the table. That being said, if we are going to take severe measures to punish socially and within the industry to Amber Heard, if I see Harvey fucking Weinstein out on the street fucking
of
again,
course,
doing
of
his own
course.
business,
Amber-
we're gonna have a
I
real
say
fucking problem.
she's trash, and I'm not saying it just because she's
I'm just saying that we have
because
to,
they're all trash.
They're all
Harvey
trash. They're
Weinstein's
all
a fucking
trash. I'm
piece of
saying
shit
equal,
scumbag.
but it's kind of like, yeah, all right, we're gonna cancel Amber Heard. Let's make sure that all these other motherfuckers stay canceled as well. Because if there's just this kind of inequality in that,
I mean, who knows? We don't even know if she's going to get canceled or not.
yeah,
We haven't seen it.
True.
We haven't really seen anything of it. I mean, this is
Right.
just we had one day where it was freedom for Johnny, and I didn't really see trending cancel fucking Amber Heard.
yeah.
So we don't know, but I mean,
I guess we'll find out. The case is in August.
it's supposed to be. I think in August. I don't know. Fucking
That's
knows
enough
anymore.
gossip
There's gonna be new shit coming out regardless. Okay, I think we're done for the day, guys.
That was
Yeah, that was
fine.
great.
Good little lap.
Yeah, that's a good way to end it. Some drama.
Next
I like
week,
it.
we've got the Valentine's Day
I
episode.
can feel the love is in the air already. I can fucking feel it.
Let's get it.
Wow. Gabe is so fucking excited.
Until
He
next
can't-
week, folks. I
Until
know
next
that
week.
Valentine's Day is this week, but we're gonna do it a few days later. It's all right. It's all
all right,
right.
yeah.
You'll be full of love. Everyone will be full of love.
Yeah, you'll be
You
able
can
to
hear
carry,
the episode, have some fun.
get to carry
all
on
that.
some love just a couple days later. That's all.
Correct.
Who gives a fuck?
See,
Oh boy,
see you later,
that'd
guys.
be a doozy. Later.